like to call this meeting of the Terrebonne Parish Council to order, and we will have the invocation and the pledge by Mr. John Amity. Please rise.
Dear Lord, please guide us so that this meeting can be productive, Lord. Lord, we pray that you satisfy the needs that need to be met during this meeting, and Lord, strengthen us as we make the tough decisions. Father, let us be effective and decisive. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I please get a roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Domain.
Here.
Mr. Darren Guidry. Mr. Babin. Mr. Dirk Guidry. Mr. Trustclair. Mr. Pleasure. Mr. Harding. Mr. Michelle. Mr. Amity. Mrs. Chairwoman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you. Approve the minutes of the regular council session held on November 15th, 2023. Moved by Mr. Dirk Guidry, second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members, vote your machines. We have 9 yeas. Motion passes. Distribute the minutes of the regular council session held on November 29th, 2023. Approve accounts payable list for 11/20/2023, November 27th, 2023, and December 4th, 2023.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dirk Guidry, second by Mr. Gerald Michel. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas and 1 abstention. Motion passes. Approve the manual checklist for October 2023.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Danny Babin, second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas and 1 abstention. Motion passes. Item A, a resolution approving the holding of an election in the Village East Fire Protection District of the Parish of Terrebonne, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, April 27, 2024, to authorize the renewal of a special tax therein.
Move.
Moved by Mr. John Amity and second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members, vote your machines. Mr. Gerald Michel, you have a light, sir.
I just want to know why there's no detail on what this, what the tax renewal is. You know, what the dates are, what the, you know, this, what the amount of the tax is. We have no backup on this. Unless I'm missing it, which I could be.
It's in the resolution.
It's in the resolution, sir. It's on the back. Millage renewal proposition.
Oh, is it on?
Yes, sir. 1A.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. We have a motion and a second. Members, vote your machines. We have 9 yeas. Motion passes. Item B, consider the removal of a board member on the Recreation District Number 1 Board as a result of an executive session held on November 29th, 2023. We have 1 speaker card, Mr. Anthony Rainey. Mr. Rainey, give us 1 second. Is his light on? All right, Mr. Rainey.
Yes, Anthony Rainey, 3593 Highway 316, Great Louisiana. I'll pass y'all out each a letter from Rec District Number 1. And I want y'all to...
Mr. Rainey,
Yes.
Rainey, we're only speaking on this item. We cannot speak on the letter.
Okay, well,
We can only speak on the-
we're going to speak on that. But I was deprived here and brought here today because of, I took up for this employee. And this letter is showing y'all a total class of retaliation against these employees when somebody speak up for them. This employee only makes $5,000 a year as a part-time job. And since yes.
We're speaking on the agenda item, and the agenda item has to do with the executive session related to
Okay,
us
but
removing the employee.
I
This has
understand.
nothing to do with the employee or
But
anything that has to do
that's how
with
we
the
got
letter.
into that executive session. Because of me speaking up for that employee. That's how that's how I arrived here to get into that executive session. And I'm just telling you, that's just retaliation. And I think all the 9 of y'all know that. That is retaliation. That is retaliation. That's how I got here.
This was done. You know.
And I think it's me to speak up for them employees.
Mr. Rainey, you want to speak on 1C as
Well,
well?
I don't know, we can go in executive session, do whatever y'all have to do. But that is why that is why they're trying to get me removed off of this board. Because I speak up for the employees. And that is retaliation, and y'all see it. And I think y'all know it too. I don't think y'all know, I know y'all know it. That is retaliation. And somebody have to speak up for them, and somebody have to say something about it. If you want to remove me from that board because I speak up for them, remove me. But I'm not going to stop speaking up for them.
Turn his mic off and let me talk.
Thank you, Mr. Rainey. Mr. Michel.
Okay, so what process are we using here?
Yes, sir. We are going to have to re-vote. So we're going to do a roll call vote, and we are going to vote for either rehabilitation or removal. So can we please get a roll call vote?
You have to make a motion to go to do it first. You had made a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make the motion, please, to vote to either put the board member in a rehabilitation status where he has to apologize and do necessary events as dictated by the council.
Yeah, sir, you don't have a light.
Put your light on, Joe. Start over.
Okay, all right. I make a motion to either put the board member into rehab, which includes various articles, factors that we discussed in the previous meeting, including an apology, including,
No.
Just make
Yeah.
the motion.
okay, all right, or vote to have him immediately removed from the board.
All right, so we have a motion to vote by Mr. Michel.
Let him talk. I seconded the motion, so if you need to go.
So we have a motion by Mr. Michel, a second. Mr. Craig Stewart, you have filled out a speaker card. Is this on item B, sir? Yes. Okay, you can come and speak, sir. Because we already have a motion and a second, sir. Give me 1 second, I'm going to start your timer.
Point of order.
Yes.
Was that speaker card done before the beginning of the meeting?
It was just turned in, however, it's his attorney.
I
Yes,
want to know
yes.
that we're allowing him to do that despite the fact that it says prior to the beginning of the.
Yes, sir, we are allowing you to speak despite that it's coming in late. You can speak, sir.
Okay. Good evening, and
Sorry, we have to turn your, sorry.
All right. The green light's on.
Okay, you can speak, sir.
good evening, and to the members of the Parish Council, the individuals present in the audience. However, I just want to reiterate what we spoke of last period.
Yeah, your name and address, sir.
Sir, can you please identify yourself?
Craig Stewart, 627 School Street, Houma, Louisiana. I just want to talk about, prior to the vote, as I indicated last time, we speak about individuals unwilling to volunteer for boards and commissions and actually serve the parish. And here we have an individual who is extremely passionate, who is extremely motivated and concerned about the well-being of the individuals within the district for which he serves, specifically the children and the elderly. I was in a meeting once, and he was very passionate about not only having recreational issues for the children, he was speaking about recreational matters for the elderly and the handicapped within the community. And once we find that he report certain items, certain behaviors, and certain issues, and he attempts to address them, it appears that he is chastised by threats of removal and subsequently removal to the board with allegations for which he has not received any written indication or any written requests after filing even public records requests for certain items. So if we find ourselves tonight where he is getting repeatedly voted upon to be removed from a recreation board, and then attempted to be silenced for not tolerating bad conduct and wrong behavior, which may or may not be sanctionable by criminal penalties. So we're here tonight, and we're gonna see what the vote is. We're gonna see whatever happens. So is this a message to caution those who actually want to serve our community through boards and commissions, that if you do speak up against what you believe to be wrongdoings, you're going to be removed? I just asked the public and the council to actually look at the underlying motives and the issues. And the moment that it's believed that certain people are removed, retaliatory actions and things take place. I'm not going to go on all night, but I'm just going to say, ask that we look at the vote and we govern our conscience. And this may be the time to discuss the true consolidation of parish government, the true consolidation of the rec boards, and proper oversight of the rec boards. And I'm finished, and I thank you for your time, and I just ask you to do the right thing when you vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. So we do have a motion to vote by Mr. Michel and a second by Mr. Babin. And I just want to clarify that we are voting for either rehabilitation or removal. Can we please get a roll call vote?
Okay, Ms. Domain,
Rehabilitation.
Mr. Darren Gidry, Mr. Babin, Mr. Dirk Gidry,
Removal.
Mr. Trusclair, Mr. Pleasure,
Rehab.
Mr. Harding, Mr. Michel,
Removal.
Mr. Amity.
Abstention.
We have 3 for rehab, 5 for removal.
Thank you. Item C, consider ratifying and adopting, yes, sir.
Note the record that 5 for removal means removal.
Okay,
For the
so
record.
there are 5 votes to remove.
To remove.
Yes.
And so the decision of the council is to remove.
The decision of the council is to remove Mr. Rainey from the rec board. Item C, consider ratifying and adopting the meeting held on Wednesday, November 29th, 2023, concerning the vote from the executive session to remove a board member from the Recreation District 1 Board.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Babin.
Second.
Second by Mr. Michel. Members, vote your machines.
He was signed for B and C. Does he want to come back up?
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Rainey, you had a speaker card for B and C. Did you want to come back up? No, ma'am. Okay, thank you. The members voted? I didn't get it on my, so we have 8 yeas and 1 nay, and I'm sorry, I didn't have it come up on my screen. Item 2, council members request discussion of. Council member Brian Pledger requests discussion relative to Recreation District Number 10's 2024 proposed budget, 5-year plan, and other matters related thereto. Mr. Pledger.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Do we have representation for Rec District 10 here? Just raise your hand, I guess. Okay, thank you. I put this on the agenda tonight for specifically to address and talk about the budget and 5-year plan for Rec District 10. And with representation from Rec District 10, Mr. Constant, the president, he's here. I would like for him to come up to the podium in case he wants to kind of give some feedback or something like that. But specifically, what's bothering me about this is we have we're spending roughly $200,000 a year in wages. You can come to the microphone here. And I'll give you a minute to speak on this. We have in your budget as of September that we've spent $210,000 in wages. Now, with that, roughly $20,000 a week during the summer in wages. And I understand you have probably the biggest summer camp that's here in Terrebonne Parish, if not one of the biggest. And I requested the names or the listing of all the summer employees that you guys have, and it's not representative of Bayou de Large. That's my biggest thing there. You have 32 employees between summer and full-time employees. I'm sorry? I tell you what, you can state your name and address, and then we can kind of go back and talk. Go ahead.
My name's Daniel Constant Jr., 1355 Dr. Beatrice Road, Terrebonne, Louisiana. I'm the chairman of Rec District 10.
Okay. You something you wanted to add there right quick, or before I go on?
Most of the employees you're looking at is summer camp. We have three full-time employees year-round. So that and swimming pool. Excuse me.
Right. So if I break it down, as you suggested there, or you kind of shared with us, your summer camp is 10,000 every 2 weeks, and your swimming pool's about 5,000, totaling about 20 once you add the other people that's at the summer camp itself. Now, with that, it was just ironic that I received all the names except 3 people whom I guess they're your director and another lady who was mentioned, and Miss James, she was left out too as well. So in reviewing your budget, can we, going forward, can we at least help in making sure that the folks that we have listed as employees, or I don't know if they're high school or adults?
Mostly college.
Mostly college.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's college from all college folks that are down on Bayou de Large, right?
Whoever applies, correct.
Okay, all right. So with that, we'll move forward. Ms. Triggs, can you put the slide up for us? In your 5-year plan, we'll just scroll down to the bottom. Okay, right there. Can you kind of explain your 5-year plan to me?
Well, first of all, you can see it says that 40-ton AC is fixing to go out. It's limping along. You're talking 150,000 right there. Basically, it's self-explanatory.
Okay, fair enough, and that's what I expected. It's pretty self-explanatory. However, Ms. Triggs, if you can go to the next slide, I'm going to break it down for you so you can understand what I'm talking about, okay? If you look at the next slide that Ms. Triggs is going to put up, it's broken down, it's color-coded for you so you can see, okay? You got it? All right, there we go. All right, so if we look at the bluish green, the AC, as you mentioned, tennis court, gym, and all that, it's broken down clearly. Now the yellow means upgrades. That means you already have it. It's already there, and you just want to make it better. The bluish green means you have it, and you want to make it better. If you scroll down to the bottom in the green, you don't even have that. And there's a lot of people.
It's a 5-year plan.
I get it.
You understand that, right?
I get it totally.
Okay.
I get it. But at the same time, the folks of the upper portion of Bayou de Large, they're calling me about that. They say they come to the board meetings and we don't get anything.
Well, if you would come to the board meeting, you would see that we are working on it.
Okay, I've been to your board
And you
meeting
didn't
several
say
times.
a word when you came to the board meeting.
Yes.
You didn't ask any questions.
Okay.
You just sat down and didn't come in and introduce yourself.
Okay, Mr. Constant, that's fine. But I spoke with Miss Tammy, and when you guys had the town hall meeting, I was there, I was vocal.
Yes, you
and all
were.
that, right. So with that being said, can you tell me your plan with Beechwood Park?
It's in process. We're fixing to clear it and turn it into green space within the next 6 months to get started. And then we're gonna go ahead and put back what we had at Liner Park for the time being, which is basketball facility. We're gonna try to do a covered basketball facility, which is better than what was there, and playground equipment.
And you have plans for that to be done when?
As soon as the funding comes available, we are working on grants as we speak.
We're working on grants, okay? But we have a $200,000 a year payroll. We're working on grants. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you like this, Mr. Constant. The folks down there would love to have a park. They would love to have the means. They would love to be able to utilize the facilities down there. It's clear, it's easy to say it's open to everybody, but they need access, Mr. Constant,
Two,
to all the facilities down there.
they do have access to all the facilities.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine if that's what you're sharing. But at the same time, let's speed up the process of getting a park or getting something done, because I was down there yesterday and it's woods. There's no signs of a park happening. However, there's been about 10 grand spent on cutting grass and all that. So now, and not only that, but you have someone on payroll that's considered lawn care. And on Beechwood Drive or Beechwood Street, there's probably, it's really bad right now.
I agree.
And I'm really passionate about this because of the simple fact I receive the phone calls.
So that.
And that's what I'm supposed to do as a representative of the people. And that's what governing means, to fulfill the needs of the people, not wants, such as upgrades. Get the needs done first, and then we'll work on the upgrades. That's my suggestion.
Well, we meet the last Monday of the month. You're welcome to come and be vocal.
I will do that and going forward. And I'm sure Mr. Babin, he might have something that he wants to share. Go ahead.
Danny,
Thank you, Mr. Babin.
Yeah, I can appreciate what Mr. Pledger is asking here, and we can ask these same questions to every rec district that we have out there, and we probably will start doing that, okay? I've represented Rec 10 for 8 years, all four, and then the last 4, and I think Rec 10 does an outstanding job. It wasn't y'all did not want that park to go away. It went away, all right? And now you're trying to find funds that you need to build another park. And again, I didn't attend the town hall meeting, and I apologize for that. I had a prior engagement that particular night. But Mr. Pledger now represents the northern portion of Crozier. And I think it's fine that he's asking all of these questions. The summer camp is the second largest summer camp that we have in the parish here, okay, by Black, which I also represent, has the largest. And y'all do a phenomenal job on it. I know about the air conditioning system. I know that you also have to probably go through a wall to get to it. That's why the cost is going to be so expensive on it. Do you have an idea off the top of your head how old that unit is?
That's the original unit.
Yeah, and I mean, and Tammy Knight is here, the director. Tammy, if you would like to come up and speak on any of this, I'd like for you to come up as well, all right? You might be able to address some things in conjunction with what Danny's saying. But again, all of these things I don't find them, because it's a 5-year plan, I don't find it out of kilter, okay? The $200,000 for salaries throughout the year, I would like to see that breakdown, okay, where it's going. I don't think, and let me back up on that. I think Mr. Pledger mentioned that it wasn't representative of by the large. Did we have applications that we turned down, people, or did we just have enough applications to fill what we had? And I think Tammy could probably answer that particular question. Tammy, if you mind. Tammy Knight, 1429 Dr. Beatrice Road, Terrebonne, Louisiana, 70397.
On the applications that we had for employment in the summer, for summer camp, we needed how many people?
We had 20 counselors. We had probably 85 to 90% that is from DuLarge
Okay,
or has been through our program.
but my point is out of the 20 that you hired, how many applications did you have?
Oh, I probably had about 30 applications.
Okay, so you had
But I had
ample
about
people.
70% returning. So we have a good return.
Okay, so, and who determines the people that you hire? You
So
and-
myself and my coordinators.
All right, the same people who have been doing it
Yes,
for a long time.
right.
Okay, I just want to make that clear that our process has not changed.
No.
Okay, and there was no intentionally leaving anybody out. Okay, if we can't get qualified people from the buyer, you have to have the number of people you need to make the camp viable. And I
Right.
think that's.
So the statement is we left somebody out? Was that what I'm getting at?
What I suggested was that we don't, I'm sorry.
Hold on, yeah,
It's-
get-
Go ahead, I'm ready.
not on.
Yeah,
I'm
but
ready. Turn it on.
Okay.
What I suggested was we left people out that would want to work at the camp, that are qualified, that do go to college, that live in Bayou DeLarge, such as Crozier, Paragon Park area. There's folks, do you have anybody work there that's from that area?
From the.
Paragon Park,
Paragon Park?
Donald
No.
Drive, Raleigh Drive, Crozier. Do you have anybody that works there from, thank you.
I did.
And I really do appreciate Mr. Babin sort of coaching you guys along, but that's
No.
perfect. That's what I needed because we're going to use, I'm going to give an example of
So
Bayou, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So it's advertised every year. It's not something that I just, so it's advertised. I even advertised it in our media,
Okay,
social media also. So it's not that I'm not, but they have to apply themselves too.
absolutely, I get it. But back to Mr. Babin sharing that, sort of in you guys' defense, I want to share with Mr. Babin, my colleague to my left here, that he mentioned Bayou Black, great park, great facility. It's probably next to you guys or on top of you guys. Mulberry, great park. It's great facility. Other parks in his district, great parks, great facilities. My question here and my concern here is not the fact that you guys have good parks. It's that you have parks. Upper Bayou DeLarge, which is your area of responsibility, they don't have one.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. We talk about what we have and all this in Mr. Babin's district. I get it. They don't have it. And that's my concern. And that's my discussion. And that's what I would like to see changed. Thank you.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
Tammy,
Uh,
and I just want to respond, and you're absolutely right. Getting back to the applications, was anybody in the streets that he mentioned, did anybody apply and you turned those people down?
No.
Okay, that's the point I'm trying to make
Right.
here. Granted, they have qualified people from that area, and I think they do. In years to come, I hope they put their application in, and then it's going to be more inclusive of the entire buyer, simple and pure. They, again, as I said earlier, they didn't decide to lose that park. The people wanted the property back. So the only way they could do it within their means is to put it in a 5-year plan and try to accelerate that as fast as possible, okay? And I think, again, I think you're doing it in the best speed that you can. I agree with Mr. Pledger. I'd like to see it speeded up if at all possible, if the money works on it. I know you guys have been working very hard on the insurance. We still don't have ballparks down there with lights on it, okay? We still have a lot of damage from Hurricane Ida. I'm not trying to blame it on that, but there's a lot of, here in the parish, all our rec districts, none of them are back to where they were prior to Ida. So again, I'll relinquish the mic.
Brent Rodrigue, 113 Tina Street, Vice Chair on the board. And I have to say, Danny just took the words out of my mouth. When we lost that park, it wasn't our choice. The board had two options. Option one was to not have a park. Option two was to secure a park, and it wasn't easy. And we found property. Now we're looking at funding in which to do so. So if you back up a few years past, the funding for that district was $1.2 million, $1.3 million. If you look at it today, it's about 500,000, maybe less. So funding is the biggest opportunity. If the money was there, that park would already be on the ground. There's no doubt about that. This board has actively done things to make that happen. I think we all know things don't happen fast enough, but the bottom line goes back to the funding. You know, we're looking at putting something there that's noticeably better than what it was before. But it goes back to the funding.
And understand, 10-5 of 23 spent $47,000 on park equipment. Just curious.
Say again?
According to your 120-day or your 1-year maintenance budget, you spent $47,311 on park equipment, but it didn't go to that park, right? Or maybe
We're still getting plans on that park. We just now got plans on that park to move forward.
No, I was saying about funding. You said, it was, I understand you have a problem with funding and you're trying to get it, but you spent $47,000 in October on equipment for a park. But it wasn't that park is what I'm getting to. But the funding is the issue. Or maybe I'm missing something.
I think that
So
was
I
a
think that's the
IDA,
fencing
that's
for
an IDA
that
problem, that was
That-
fencing.
That was not fencing, because the fencing items, you had 3. It was broken down, 66,000 for the fencing, 22 each time, 3 different costs. This was in October, $47,311 was spent on equipment for park equipment. Tell you what we'll do is, I'll set up a meeting with you guys, and we'll come and sit and we'll talk about it. A little in depth, with some representation from those folks who want a park, and then we can kind of move forward. And if I have to help you find some money, we'll do that, but we're not going to spend money on park equipment, and we need a park, and it's not going in that park. That's what I suggest. So with that being said, you guys can close if you have something else to say. I'm sure my colleague to my left has a little bit more, but we will be in discussions about this, and I'm going to make sure that we work on fulfilling the needs of the people in the upper portion of Bayou DeLarge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pledger.
We wanted,
Do you still have your light on, Mr. Babbitt? You need to turn it back on, sir. And I have another light as well.
all right, we want to serve the needs of everybody on Bayou Lodge. Whenever this meeting is set up, I'd like to be a part of that meeting along with Mr. Pledger, because I probably represent 75% of the district, okay, in terms of population. So whenever the meeting is set up, please make me aware of it, and I will definitely be there, because I'm interested in what Mr. Pledger has, okay? And again, I think you will see that there's going to be a lot of this coming up over the next couple of months with different rec districts, okay? We'll start scrutinizing what we see and what's been done, and go from there. And while I have the mic, I rode through Rec 1 today, and if you have not, go take a look at that new park, okay? It's phenomenal. So thank you very much.
Mr. Harding,
So,
I'm sorry, I have other lights, sir.
For anyone that can actually put it out there in the public, because no one said, when does Rec 10 meet?
The last Monday of the month,
Last Monday of the month, at what time?
at 6 o'clock,
At the same location?
yes. But
Okay.
this month it's changed to the 20th due to Christmas.
And the same place,
Same place we've been doing it
same
for
times?
years.
All right. And in reference to all of those folk that are out there that serve on other recreation boards and other posts of the, dealing with recreation, I don't feel as if that I'm gonna go scrutinize everybody else's recreation district. It's just gonna have to be independently done. So I'm not putting forth any effort targeting anyone else to scrutinize anybody else's recreation district just because one particular district actually has a slight little hiccup, okay? So I'm putting it out there so far as I'm concerned. I'm not scrutinizing nobody else's recreation district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Mr. Pledger?
One last thing on Mr. Babin's, in his closing comment, he mentioned about the the park in Rec District 1 on Coto. That's great. That's great. That's a great example that he gave. But at the same time, Mr. Babin, I'm going to tell you this. You shouldn't throw it in their face like that, because they don't have one. I understand totally, but they don't have one, and that's the problem now. They don't have one.
And just a point of clarity, Rec One did bond out $4 million for that park, so that was their own money. They took a loan out. Mr. Babin, let me turn your light back on, sir.
The point in me bringing that up, you know, we have Parish President Dove put together a group of every board, every rec district in this parish, so they could meet once a month to exchange ideas. My point in bringing that up is asking them to take a look at what Rec One did. Yes, they bonded out $4 million, and unfortunately, they could not complete it because COVID and a hurricane came in, and that price went to $6 million. So they had to cut things out of it. If the money is in Baia de Lodge and they can bond it out, I think that they would probably do that as early as next year. But it has to be able, every one of us, every one of the districts is not making the money through taxation that we've all made in the past, okay? And so that's one thing we need to take a look at. And Mr. Horning, just to address that, my statement was not to go out and try to take every district, but I happen to represent 4 districts, okay? So when I mean that, I may take a look at all 4 in my district, Rec 4, Rec 9, Rec 10, and Rec 11. I represent those. So that's what I meant by that, not to go out and check every one of them, but it is our responsibility after the modernization task force that we went through and all the things that we came up with, it is this council's responsibility to take a look at those things. So thank you.
Mr. Harding.
To answer you, Mr. Babin, just like we do everything else here, we want to stick to the subject. So we were talking about Rec 10. We should have kept it to Rec 10. Don't actually go out there and say anything about all the rest of the recreation district. We were dealing with Rec 10. I represent several recreation districts also. So I was only just clearing up from my point of view. You do what you want to do. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, and it was wrong. Well, it should have been better understanding of that.
We're done.
Thank you.
All right.
Motion
Thank
to go to 6:30 public hearings?
We have a motion to go to 6:30 public hearing by Mr. Amity and a second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas. Mr. Michel had to leave for another commitment. We are in 6:30 public hearing. Item A, an ordinance to amend the 2023 adopted operating budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. Animal shelter, $8,607. Emergency Preparedness Department, EMPG, $5,885. Economic Development, $8,000. Parish-wide Recreation Fund, $3,900. 5% budget adjustment for sales tax revenue. General Fund, a credit of $805,583. Public Safety Fund, a credit of $804,583. Road and Bridge Fund, a credit of $604,119. Drainage Tax Fund, a credit of $604,119. Sales Tax Fund, $604,119. Terrebonne Parish Levy and Conservation District, a credit of $604,121. A 5% budget adjustment for Criminal Court Fund, credit of $97,527. 5% budget adjustment for Parish Prisoners Fund, $200,000. Non-district recreation, $32,000. Dedicated Emergency Fund, $5,821,076. Dedicated Emergency Fund, $8,507,263. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close by Mr. Darren Gidry, a second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members vote your machine. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a, sir, can you please come to the mic?
I think you got a speaker card. I thought he did.
He has a speaker card, on, not on this. Yeah. Yes, sir. Oh, sir, public wishes to, so we had to go to 6:30 public hearing, sir, because by law, we have to go to public hearing at 6:30. However, we're gonna come back to the speaker cards after, so we'll call you up whenever. I still have your speaker card though, sir. All right, thank you, all right. Yeah, all right, so we, public once, public twice, third time public. Motion, yeah, we had a motion and a second to close. Members vote your machines. Yeah. All right, so 8 yeas. A motion to adopt by Mr. Darren Gidry, second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members vote your machines. 8 yeas, motion passes. Item B, an ordinance to amend the 2023 adopted operating budget for the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. 5% budget adjustment for road district, number 1, $58,000. 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district, number 7, $8,280. 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district, number 8, $4,500. 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district, number 10, $10,500. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion closed.
Motion to close by Mr. Dirk Gidry, second by Mr. John Amity. Members vote your machines.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Dirk Gidry, second by Mr. John Amity. Members vote your machines. We have 8 yeas, motion passes. Item C, an ordinance to adopt the 2024 operations and maintenance budget and the 5-year capital improvement budget of the Terrebonne Parish Council to amend the parish compensation plan for new and/or adjusted positions to approve a 2% cost of living increase for the parish president's departments and council staff and to address other matters relative thereto. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Mr. Dirk Gidry, second by Mr. John Amity. Members vote your machines. Public is closed.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Dirk Gidry, second by Mr. John Amity. Members vote your machines. We have 8 yeas. Motion passes. Item D, an ordinance to amend the Terrebonne Parish Code of Ordinances to name the East Side Public Safety Substation the Chester Nixon Senior Community Police Substation in honor of the late Mr. Chester Nixon Senior. And I do have one speaker card on this matter. Mr. Craig Luke?
Craig Luke, 103 Georgia Girl Drive. This is in the Grand Caillou-Dulac community. When I saw this item on the agenda, I felt it was important for me to come tonight in support of my friends, the Nixon family. I've been knowing Clark and Cassius, their brother Darnell, since I'm a teenager, as well as their extended family, the Beauvillain family, from which their mother is a part of. Like I said, I just felt it's important. I've only recall meeting Mr. Nixon maybe 2 or 3 times in my much younger days. Kind of giving you an idea of my age now, and I'd always known him to be a keen businessman and a community-minded individual. And I just want to say that I'll support this 100%. I'm here tonight in support of this, and I felt it was important for me as a friend to the Nixon family for me to come out and express my support on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Mr. Brian Pledger, second by Mr. Danny Babin. Members, vote your machines. Public is closed.
Motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt by Mr. Brian Pledger, second by Mr. Danny Babin. Members, vote your machines. Mr. Harding.
There's some family members in the audience. I would ask if they would want to come up and say anything.
Would the family of Mr. Nixon like to come up and say anything tonight?
Good.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. We also had a vote, and 8 yeas, motion passes. Congratulations. Item F, an ordinance, E, an ordinance to amend Chapter 28 zoning, Article 9, Terrebonne, 11, Terrebonne Parish Coastal Zone Management Program, Division 4 Enforcement, Section 28-271 regarding coastal litigation. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close by Mr. Steve Trosclair, second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members, vote your machines. Public is closed. Motion to adopt by Mr. Steve Trosclair, second by Mr. Carl Harding. Mr. Babin.
Yeah, Mr. Trosclair put this on here. I'd just like for him to explain to the public what this is all about, if you don't mind.
Mr. Trosclair?
Yes, I put this on the agenda. This is regarding the coastal lawsuit litigation that the parish has, this council has, and the previous council before have decided that we are not willing or wanting to take part in any litigation against the oil companies. And I put this on here just as it's a stopgap measure to stop, or not really stop, but it makes it a little more intense to be able to go in and change it, but it can still be changed by vote of the council. And that's where I think that the decision-making should come to this council, because we are the governing body of the parish. I don't think any one person should have a decision on whether or not we enter any lawsuits or litigation without the vote of council, a majority vote of council, put it that way.
Thank you, Mr. Trosclair. Mr. Dove?
Yes, and to add to that, Mr. Hebert, would you please just very briefly explain it so we make sure we go on the record exactly what this is doing? Thank you, Mr. Hebert.
Mr. Hebert?
You're welcome. The Parish Council, under Section 4-113C, has a right to propose an ordinance to change and create, change, alter, consolidate, abolish parish departments, offices, agencies, and reclassify the functions and powers and duties. It's been done. That is the charter that grants that authority. It's been done historically. I'll give you a perfect example. The charter calls out for the chief administrative officer. In the year 2000, that was changed by ordinance to parish manager. So today, we don't have a chief administrative officer. We have a parish manager. 2 other departments were added, the Civic Center Department and the Public Safety Department. So the charter is flexible and it allows the control of it. What's happening here is 2 things, is that the council, by 2/3 vote, must authorize the parish president to dismiss the lawsuit that is determining who has the authority to operate and make the decisions concerning any damage claims that are owned by the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. Is it the district attorney, an appropriate district attorney, or is it the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government? That's number 1. That's D. Number 2 is that if there's going to proceed in a lawsuit, or if there's going to proceed in any claim without a lawsuit, the parish president must come to the council and get authority by 2/3 to a vote, an affirmative vote, to be able to make that decision. So it's just a checks and balances. And that is allowed to be done under the Home Rule Charter, and that's what this ordinance is doing. Thank you.
Mr. Babin?
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing the ability to do it. I'm not doing that at all. And yes, I voted just like every one of us that are on here from the last group to not sue the outcomes. It was unanimous, and I still feel that way. I also feel that the council should have checks and balances and oversight. But why do we want to encumber it with a 2/3 vote? If we in fact want to put more power in the council for checks and balances, why would we not make it just a simple majority vote? And also, you said you felt this was important not to have one person to do it, but that's what we're trying to change because one person was doing it. Am I correct? That you said that's what this was intended to do. You can go back on the record and listen to it. You said you wanted to change this to put the power of good checks and balance with the council. I agree with that. You said we wanted to make sure that just one person wasn't entering or getting out of this lawsuit. I say that was the power up until this point.
So we have. Any other lights? No. We have a motion and a second. I'm sorry. Did we call for public hearing?
Yep.
Yes, okay, so we called for public hearing, and we did a motion and a second. So, members, vote your machines. Yes. So public is closed, all right? Motion to adopt by Mr. Steve Trosclair, and a second by Mr., was it Brian? Mr. Brian Pledger. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas, motion passes. Item F, an ordinance certifying and approving an ad valorem tax exemption in accordance to LA Construct Art 7, Section 21F for machinery, equipment, and other capital improvements to be assessed at 301 Bayou Delarge Road, Houma, Louisiana 70363, owned by Bollinger Houma Shipyards LLC in regards to its industrial ad valorem tax exemption, application number 202-10609-ITE. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Mr. Danny Babin, and a second by Mr. John Amity. Members, vote your machines. Public is closed.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Danny Babin, and a second by Mr. John Amity. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas. Motion passes. We have a motion to go back in regular order by Mr. John Amity, a second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members, vote your machines. We're back in regular order. Item 3, public wishes to address the council. As per speaker cards, in accordance with Section 2-07 of the Terrebonne Parish Home Rule Charter, the public will be heard and can speak for 3 minutes on any related matter to public government without discussion or questions and answers on non-agenda items. We have one speaker card, Mr. Wilford Joseph. So, sir, it's now your time. Yeah. And, sir, if you could state your name and address for the record, and give me 1 second, I want to turn on your timer. All right, you got it. Okay, go, sir.
Good evening. My name is Wilford Joseph. I live at 102 Octavia Street in Shreveport, Louisiana, in the community of Levittown. I was here the other night, and I just came mainly for clarification because there were some things said that I didn't really understand. We talked about the underdeserved and low-income communities with the IDA recovery money. That was one thing that was discussed, and I had submitted an application under the RCIP, and Ms. Nikki Black and I discussed this at length, and we found a section that would meet my needs, our needs in our community, and it's 105A8. And I didn't, you all voted on a resolution about the revitalization of downtown and I think the Black History Museum. But I didn't understand where my application fit in at. Was it, it was a community centers application, and I just don't understand the process because I live in a poor community, but let me say this: I'm retired from a major oil company. And I've been retired 12 years. I worked 33 years, and now my job now is trying to uplift my community. Man, that's my total job. Is my community. So we're trying to get some funding for our community, and if some of this money for idle recovery, we was out in the school parking lot for 2 years. We finally made it back into the church, but we're trying to get some money to make generational changes in our communities. And with the monies we asked for, that's what we plan on doing. But I don't understand prioritizing the monies that's in the community that came from FEMA. How does the money get prioritized? And Councilman Harding asked for a definition of what's low income, underdeserved communities, and I want to hear that definition myself because I don't think you get much lower than us. But we're trying to do what we can to keep our children out of jail, to get them in college, and if we can get some funding and help with this item money, that's what we plan on doing. We're going to do it regardless if we get the money or not. Man, it just might take us. It's going to take us a lot longer, but the money is available, and I just want to understand the process of trying to access some of this money. And like I said, Mr. Pulaski, I've been communicating through Ms. Nikki Black with him, and she's been a great help to me. I thank her very much. And we just don't understand the process. We're trying to understand, was our application a resolution or not? We don't know what, I don't understand what happened. And we're just trying to get some clarification. Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Harding.
Yes, as we spoke before, I think what the gentleman is here, I think we're dealing with two different things. What we're talking about is the recovery money that we were getting, totaling up within a certain amount of time of $117 million. Your application in reference to the area that you are looking to get assistance with through the Restore program, it does actually fit in, but what we were talking about as a bigger scheme. So as your application go forward towards Chris, it hasn't been totally adopted yet. I don't think Candace, as of recently, she haven't got the definition of the underserved areas or underserved, and I think we're going to get that, and we may make that out of an agenda item the next time so we can speak more freely about that.
Sir. Sir, your mic's not on, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The reason why I asked because it was mentioned, but seemed like it wasn't in the order of receiving funding. And I'm trying to understand because it was in that group of things that they put forth the other night that they talked about. So are we being considered? Or I don't know. And I'm just seeking answers.
So, sir, could we put this on as an agenda item? That way our staff and they all have time to prepare for this. And so your council person can put this as an agenda item for next council meeting, and then you can come back and we can actually have the conversation. They can have the time to prepare to answer the questions that you have. Would that be okay, sir?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so we'll get that, Mr. Harding, you want to put that on the agenda next time? Okay, all right.
You said you can answer it right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you've got Jules's light on. Is that your light?
Jules not on.
I
don't know why it's showing up as
Jules.
Okay, you can, yeah.
Okay, so Monday night at the last meeting on December 11th, it was a discussion of the CDBG DR money. So the resolution has not passed. The resolution is actually going before the council committee this coming Monday on December 18th. Now, the resolution that'll be discussed this coming Monday on the 18th has to do with the first allocation of CDBG DR money, which is approximately $41.4 million. And as we presented last Monday, there is a list of projects that we are recommending and that we would like to put forth in that application to FEMA on January 8th. However, there is a second allocation of money in the CDBG-DR program at $76 million. And that second application is due February 19th, 2024 to FEMA. So we will be going back to this council committee, well, new council in January. But as before, we will introduce the list for the second allocation as a discussion item and then followed up 2 weeks later with the resolution. Community centers, which your application that you've discussed with Nikki that she's brought back to the group at large, fits into that community center category, which is on the list of the second allocation of projects,
Okay, all right.
which is a larger amount. It's 76 million. Now, we can, move money between the resilient infrastructure or the hometown revitalization mix of projects, but community centers are in that second allocation, the 76 million.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for that
Oh, and
clarifying.
Candace will have the definition of disadvantaged communities.
Thank you, Ms. Candace, and thank you, Mr. Pulaski. Item 4, committee reports. Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Dirk Gidry.
I'll make a motion the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee held on December 11, 2023, and I have one public hearing. Introducing an ordinance in accordance with Chapter 2, Article 10, Section 2-229 of the Terrebonne Parish Code of Ordinance. An ordinance to authorize the appointment of Anthony J. Alford Insurance Corporation to serve as agent of record for the life, disability, and other benefits commencing on January 1, 2024, and effective through December 31, 2024, with the option to renew for 2 additional one-year terms as more fully described herein, and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, January 10, 2024 at 6:30 p.m.
We have a motion by Mr. Dirk Gidry and a second by Mr. Brian Pledger. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas. Motion passes. Item B, Public Services Committee, Mr. Carl Harding.
Yes, I make a motion that this council accept and ratify the minutes of the Public Service Committee held on December 11, 2023, and I have no public hearings.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Harding and a second by Mr. John Amity. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas. Motion passes. Item C, Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee, Mr. John Amity.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee held on December 11th, 2023, and I have one public hearing. Introduce an ordinance to repeal ordinance number 9410 and to declare Terrebonne Parish tax parcel number 32061 with the municipal address of 302 Island Road and an owner of record of Luke Nakan as surplus and not needed for the public purpose, and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, January 10th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m.
We have a motion by Mr. John Amity and a second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members, vote your machines. We have 7 yeas. Motion passes. Streetlights. As per by Mr. Dirk Gidry. Second by Mr. John Amity. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas. Motion passes. Item 6, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. Houma Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, one expired term on 12/31/2023, representing a civic nonprofit organization. Ms. Celeste Poincaré, Landry, represents Southdown Plantation, submits application and resume for consideration.
Motion to open, close, and vote.
We have a motion to open, close, and appoint by Mr. John Amity and a second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members, vote your machines. Mr. Babin? Okay, no, okay, all right. All right. I have to get the vote.
That's fine.
Can we get the vote? I said motion, open, close, and vote.
Open, close, and appoint.
Open, close, and appoint, yes, yes. For item A, yes. Okay, we have 8 yeas. Mr. Abear, do you have a,
Finish?
we're finished voting on item 6A, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
with regards to budget and finance, there was, we trying to get a contract approved for life and disability with Mr. Alford, and it was put for the January the 10th. It should be for the meeting next week. So if you don't mind, just put notice, redo it, Mr. Dirk, to call for the public hearing on, what's the meeting next Wednesday? What's the date? The 20th. It's an ordinance, yeah. So we're calling for the public hearing. Well, but it's a special meeting that's set up by the charter. It's within that 2-week frame. So I feel comfortable. It's okay. All right.
We good?
Do we have to revisit that and revote it?
No, he just needs to make a motion that it be called for a public hearing in that date next week.
On that item?
Yes. All right.
All right.
We're trying to get this, we're trying to get this in place. So either that or you want to call another special meeting. I don't think it's necessary, okay? I think it's docketed and noticed for a public hearing next week. If somebody wants to come speak, they can come speak. Other than that, we'd have to call another special meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to revisit the Budget and Finance Committee.
We have a motion to revisit Budget and Finance by Mr. Dirk Guidry and a second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. All right, Mr. Dirk Guidry.
On the Budget and Finance Committee meeting that I just read, I'd like to change the date from January 10th, 2024 to, what's that date? December 20th, 2023.
We have a motion by Mr. Dirk Guidry and a second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas. Yes, sir, Mr.
Do a motion to rescind the earlier vote to call it on.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, you're gonna have to turn it on again.
I'd like to make a motion to rescind my previous motion to have that meeting in January, to move it to December.
We have a motion to rescind the original motion by Mr. Dirk Guidry and a second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, motion passes. Item B, Airport Commission, 1 vacancy due to a resignation. Okay. Motion to go back in regular order by Mr. Darren Guidry, and second by Mr. Steve Trosclair, a second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Y'all are really giving me a hard time my second to last meeting, huh, guys? Members, vote your machines. All right. 8 yeas, we are back in regular order. Item 6B, Airport, I got you. Airport Commission, 1 vacancy due to resignation. Mr. Taylor Weeks submits application and resume for consideration. Mr. Jody Blanchard submits application and resume for consideration. Mr. John B. Watkins submits application and resume for consideration. Ms. Christine Strickland submits application and resume for consideration. Mr. Andre J. Daigle submits application and resume for consideration. Mr. Danny Babin.
Yeah, I just want, Mr. Watson and Mr. Daig both contacted me today, and Mr. Watson, and he sent me a text. John Watson contacted me today and said he highly recommends Ms. Strickland, Dr. Strickland, to open the commission seat at the Houma Airport. Although he would like to be considered for a future opening, he does not want the parish to miss the opportunity to have someone as valuable as Ms. Strickland on the Airport Commission. Therefore, he wishes to remove his name. Andre Daig, who works for the Barkers at Terrebonne Ford, has sold vehicles to the Airport Commission, and the Barker family of dealerships sells stuff to the parish, so he did not want to put his name up there. But he would like to be considered for other boards. These are 2 people who want to serve on boards, and they just didn't want to have a conflict here, but he wanted me to let you know in public that he was supportive of you. Thank you, ma'am. And with that, I'd like to open, close, and vote.
We have a motion to open, close, and vote by Mr. Babin and a second by Mr. Harding. Can we please get a roll call? Yes, sir.
Only vote for three, or we're gonna vote, we keep all five
They're
names?
pulling their names.
They are pulling
Yes.
officially by you. Okay.
Yes. All right, so we have a motion to open, close, and vote. Can we please get a roll call vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Abear.
Point of order, their names need to stay on there. You don't have to vote for them if you don't want,
Correct.
but their names need to stay on there, vote, leave their names, you can't pull them off. They're already
Correct.
on the agenda, so rescind the motion to remove them from there, leave them on there. If you want to
Never
vote
made a
for them, fine.
motion
If you
to
don't, you
remove
don't
them.
have to, but they have to stay on.
Sir, point of order, we never made a motion to remove them. We just read a letter, and then we made a motion to open, close, and vote. Yes. No, sir. No, sir. All right, can we please get a roll call vote?
Ms. Domingue,
Ms. Strickland.
Mr. Darren Gidry. Mr. Domingue, Mr. Babin,
Dr. Strickland.
Mr. Dirk Gidry,
Mr. Blanchard?
Mr. Trusclair, Mr. Pleasure,
Blanchard?
Mr. Harding, Mr. Michelle, Mr. Amity.
Strickland?
We have 4 for Mr. Blanchard and 4 for Ms. Strickland.
Motion to revote?
We have a motion to Mr. Abear.
You revote, but they all stay, okay? There's no
Correct.
plurality
Yes, sir.
vote, so they all
Yes,
stay.
sir. We understand. All right. So we have a motion to revote by Mr. Babin.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dirk Gidry. Can we please get another roll call vote?
Ms. Domingue,
Ms. Strickland.
Mr. Darren Gidry, Mr. Babin, Mr. Dirk Gidry,
Mr. Blanchard?
Mr. Trusclair, Mr. Pleasure,
Blanchard?
Mr. Harding, Mr. Michelle, and Mr. Amity.
Strickland?
4 for Blanchard and 4 for Mr. Strickland.
Mr. Babin.
This could go on forever. I'll make a motion to hold this over to our next meeting where we have hopefully a full council with 9 members where a tie will not be.
Second?
So we have a motion to hold this over till next week by Mr. Babin and a second by Mr. Darren Gidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas. We're going to go ahead and vote on this next week. And thank you, Ms. Strickland, for being here tonight, and we'll vote. And Mr. Blanchard, and we'll vote on this next week, okay? All right, item C, Recreation District Number 3A Board, 2 vacancies. Mr. Herman Verdan submits application for consideration.
Second.
Open, close, and appoint, sir? Yes, we have a motion to open, close, and appoint by Mr. Trosclair, and a second by Mr. Brian Pledger. Members, vote your machines.
Graduated. Superstar. He needs to go.
We have 7 yeas. Congratulations, Mr. Verdan. Item 7, vacancies to various boards, committees, and commissions. Recreation District Number 2-3 Board, 1 vacancy due to resignation. Recreation District Number 3A Board, 2 vacancies. Fire Protection District Number 4 Board, 3 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024. Fire Protection District Number 5 Board, 4 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024, and 1 expired term. Fire Protection District Number 6 Board, 2 expired terms on January 1st, 2024. Fire Protection District Number 7 Board, 3 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024. Fire Protection District Number 8 Board, 2 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024, and 1 expired term. Fire Protection District Number 9 Board, 3 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024. Fire Protection District Number 10 Board, 3 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024. Bayou Cane Fire Protection District Board, 4 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024. Schriever Fire Protection District Board, 2 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024. Coteau Fire Protection District Number District Board, 2 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024, and 1 expiring term. Village East Fire Protection District Board, 4 expiring terms on January 1st, 2024. Monthly engineering reports. As per by Mr. Dirk Gidry.
Second.
Second by Mr. John Amity. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas. Item 9, announcements. Parish President, Mr. Toops, do we have any Parish President announcements? No, ma'am, no announcements. Okay. Item B, council members' announcements. Mr. Babin.
Yeah, in the spirit of what we want to do in the parish to get it cleaned up, Ms. Connie Berg is here tonight. She's very big in that. I would like to remind everyone who ran for public office, first of all, thank you for doing it, all right? It's not easy throwing your name out there. But by ordinance, all signs, whether you won or you were not successful, need to be picked up in 10 days after the last election. There still are a lot of signs out there, and it could be any one of us, all right, that we just did not see them. So all I'm asking is, let's try to get them picked up. And some of the ones on the state level, if you see them, just pick them up so we can help beautify Terrebonne Parish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Babin. Mr. Amity.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've entered the Christmas season, and we're going to have a lot more traffic. If you've been out on the roads lately, especially with some of the road construction and then all the smoke things that are going on. So I'm just asking everybody, while you're out shopping, take a little bit of time to slow down a little bit with what you're doing. Don't be in a rush. If God wants you to have that special toy, you'll find it when you get to the shelves. So just be conscious of everything that's going on, because we'd like to keep every one of our citizens that we have. We don't want to lose any to car wrecks. So again, enjoy the shopping time, enjoy the Christmas season, but please just take it back a notch and we'll all get through the traffic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amity. Mr. Harding.
Yes, I have a couple of announcements. We're usually having a Toys for Tot giveaway at the Devon Keller Gym. It's under repair. It's being repaired right now. So this particular giveaway will be given toys away at on the December 17th at the Donna Community Center Gym. It's 361 Azalea Drive in Donna, Louisiana. Notification will be coming for the Shreveport area, which would next week. And that area, the toy giveaway will be coming from the Living Word Church tomorrow, December 14th, between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. At 7463 West Park Avenue. They have a feed the community, those that is associated with the Terrebonne Health Ministerial Alliance, Terrebonne Parish, Outreach, and several other organizations. They're going to be feeding people. If you don't know where that location is, it's either the corner at Prince Collins and Park. You can also go to corner Stovall and Park. Oddly enough, if you happen to pass by to get some food or want to give some assistance, the people in the community set up a Christmas tree near the convenience center, convenience store, and I think it's rather unique that they have canned goods for anyone that want to come by, either drop off the canned goods or pick up canned goods. So they have their Christmas tree lit, and if you tune in, I'm gonna put it out there, and it's a very nice looking tree. So y'all have, if I don't get a chance to speak to you anymore, may God forever bless you and yours. That would always be my prayer.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Mr. Pledger.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I would just like to have a special thank you for Mr. Joseph, is it? Your spirit is what needs to permeate throughout this parish. It is unbelievable. And also, on a lighter note, to know that you have mailbox money being retired, that's a really good thing. But outside of that, in all seriousness, what you're doing for your community is unbelievable. And if we can get one or two just like you in other communities, Terrebonne Parish would be a much better place. And I just want to acknowledge you for what you're doing. And if there's anything that myself or I'm sure any of my other colleagues up here can do to help you further, I encourage you to reach out and let us know. Mr. Pulaski, Ms. Black, and all those folks, I know they're helping you, but what you're doing is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pledger. Yeah. We have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Amity and a second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members, vote your machines. Good night, everyone.